You've lost to the two best opponents you've faced. Now, I maintain that the rest of their schedule is no walk in the park, including Liberty, which I actually think is one of the most difficult games left on their schedule. You got to find any way, some way, somehow to come up with a dub against the Arkansas Razorbacks. And my guess is more aggressive play calling offensively will likely accomplish that. Are we, I don't know, is likely the word? Are we likely to see that? Well, when you listen to Aaron Roderick talk about slow starts, it doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
If I knew the answer, we would have fixed it a long time ago. So it's a program-wide thing. We've started slowly a lot this year, and something we're talking about as a team. We did a few tweaks to our routine this week. The guys, I don't know if anybody's already said this, but we've been getting the guys up a little earlier this week and doing some different things to just try to
lifting in the morning. I think
just doing a few things and see if that makes a difference. But bottom line is we just have to focus better and be ready to play, right from the first snap.
That drives me crazy when you say you have to focus better. We just talked about it. As an athlete, you got to really concentrate on the things you can control.
Yeah.
Are you telling me you're showing up not focused? Are you telling me? I have a hard time believing that. We've talked to a lot of BYU football players on this show. We just talked to Harris LaChance yesterday. If you missed that, go find it on our YouTube channel. Find it on my Twitter feed, The Monty Show, Monty, The Monty Show on Twitter. That's not a guy who lacks focus. Talking to Max Tooley last week, that's not a guy that lacks focus. I don't know what the answer to the slow starts are. I agree with what A-Rod said there. Hey, if we had an answer, if we knew why we were starting slow, we would have addressed it already. But why have you not figured that out?
Yeah.
You know why they haven't figured it out? Because they're not looking at themselves. I think they're looking at the players. And I'm telling you that play calling is a big reason that BYU is off to this slow start. And Jake, I think you have to be far more aggressive offensively if you are the BYU coaching staff.
Yeah, I completely agree. Here's my question. When does it stop becoming a slow start and it starts becoming just who you are as a football team? That's my question. I mean, is that week 8? Is that week 10? You know what I mean? For college football, you don't get 18 weeks, right? You get, 10, 12 weeks or whatever it is? So, to me, we're at the halfway point here. So, when does it stop becoming about a slow start and it starts becoming, this is who we are? That's my first question. I also think, to your point, if you're more aggressive in the play calling, I mean, I would think that would pay dividends. I think, we had a whole conversation yesterday on this show about how, defensively, if you put Max Tooley and Ben Bywater in positions to rush the quarterback and you put them in positions to be athletes and make plays, they're probably going to make those plays, and that's why I'm a bigger fan of where the defense is at right now than the offense. Because I know, against Oregon, I know for a fact that BYU defense had it out for Oregon, and they just over-pursued. They overplayed a lot of the plays in front of them, a lot of the opportunities. You can work with that, right? If I say to a guy, hey, we got to take better angles and not over-pursue, and that will put you in a better position with your body to make the tackle, great. I can work with that. That's fine. I can't work with, hey, we got to focus more, and, our best solution at this point is we've been getting the guys up a little earlier to try to kind of change the feel so that they can focus better. That, to me, feels very generic. It feels kind of bland, if you will. It doesn't feel like there's real X's and O's, like hey, your technique here or the strategy there, or, whatever it is. So, to me, I just don't love where the offense is at right now. And we haven't even this hour gotten into the protecting Jaren, not playing Jaren hurt when you shouldn't be playing him thing yet.
Right. Well, and I think that's a thing. And if you listen to Aaron Roderick right here talk about protecting Jaren Hall and that whole situation, this should be frustrating as a BYU fan.
I knew he was going to start. I knew he was going to be able to start. I did fear though, just He got hit pretty good in that Utah State game a couple times, probably the two hardest hits that I've seen him take since he's been here. And I know there were a bunch of people mad at me how I handled that fourth quarter, but I just ran the ball to keep him, to not let them hit him again. And so in that fourth quarter, I was running the ball even on third downs and stuff, was not going to give them another chance to hit him. And so tried to get him to the Notre Dame game as healthy as we could. He was tough and he was able to play through it, but he's feeling a lot better this week, and I expect him to be in a lot better shape.
I mean, when you hear that, it's really frustrating to me that Jaren plays last week.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you talk about being nice or being too nice. That smacks of exactly of what that is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just it's not like in successful. Like, I'll just use Nick Saban as an example because everyone knows him. Easy example. Nick Saban doesn't give a damn who you are. He doesn't care. You know, like on game day, as far as winning a football game is concerned, and X's and O's and execution and everything. If Bryce Young, let's say, is not healthy enough to go, notice Bryce Young doesn't play. Right? Notice it's next man up. Now, Bryce Young, when he's healthy, he's still going to be our guy. He's going to be the number one. Everyone knows that. But there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, you know what? Against Utah State, Jaren took an absolute beating, according to A-Rod. He's not going to be ready to go for Notre Dame. And I'm not going to sacrifice in the Utah State game to play him at Notre Dame. I'm not doing that. And that's my problem. I think that this coaching staff, and we can play the Kalani thing again because I think it's relevant in this conversation. Kalani Sitake, I agree with what you're saying, has been frustrated. There is zero doubt about that. And I want to compare and contrast the way Kalani looks versus the way A-Rod looked.
We didn't get Puka a ball, so that's frustrating. And so, I think when you only have 40, how many plays do we have total? 46? That's not going to do it. And so part of that is defense get off the field and offense get first downs and keep drives going, and just get more efficient football from our team. I think what Notre Dame did was right. Own the clock, be balanced, run the ball, throw the ball, and that's what we should be doing.
That bottle tap is very telling.
Notice what he said.
That bottle tap is very telling. I mean,
notice what he said. What he said about Notre Dame. Hey, they ran the ball, they threw the ball, they were efficient, they executed, and we're not doing that. And that's what we should be doing. And so, to me, that for anyone who pays attention to this program very closely, and I'm open to the idea that I'm reading too far into this. Okay, I understand that people say that. You don't hear Kalani Sitake say that the way he said it right there very often. And to me, that was a low key shot over A-Rod's bow. Hey, we need to get this thing moving a little bit here, and that's just, it stands out.
Yep, I agree. Jeremy Bolton says a 5% Jaren is still better than 110% Caruso. But the question is, which clearly you are, is he better than 110% Jacob Conover? Because I think and I think it was Jesse Harsh who said it earlier, what does that say about Jacob Conover? When you're willing to play an injured Jaren Hall or a not 100% Jaren Hall, and you're not willing to play 100% Jacob Conover. I mean, I think that's a really salient point about BYU because I think that's a huge problem. Jeremy also says Conover should have played against Boise State last year. Yes, he should have. And should have played against Notre Dame. Jaren is the GOAT, but hard to be the GOAT when your shoulder is made of jelly.
Agreed.
Well, and again, you heard Aaron say there a moment ago that Jaren took 2 huge hits against Utah State. Well, water's wet, and Utah State injured a BYU quarterback, right? I mean, we know these things.
Yeah.
And to me, I just don't know why you played him. I don't. I think it's really frustrating, and it is. I think a lot of this is play calling. I truly do. Tanner says that's why I like A-Rod, Jesse. He's willing to hold himself accountable when he messes up. I agree with that.
But he hasn't. Hold on. What do you mean he's willing to hold himself accountable?
Well, he straight up said that we. I know I took a lot of heat, and I know people were upset about the way I called because there was a lot of talk about the fact that he called 837 straight running plays. That's an exaggeration.
But he's not holding himself accountable there.
But he's at least explaining it. I mean, he's at least explaining it. And I think when you listen to this bite from him talking about slow starts, I actually do think he wears some.
If I knew the answer, we would have fixed it a long time ago. So it's a program-wide thing. We've started slowly a lot this year, and something we're talking about as a team. We did a few tweaks to our routine this week. The guys, I don't know if anybody's already said this, but we've been getting the guys up a little earlier this week and doing some different things to just try to
Lifting in the morning, I think.
yeah, just doing a few things and see if that makes a difference. But bottom line is we just have to focus better and be ready to play, right from the first snap.
That's what I'm saying. Like, at least he's taking some program-wide
I mean, he's being blunt and honest about it.
But what did Harris say yesterday? There's a huge accountability in the offensive line room. What are you hearing? Hey, I think there's accountability, but what is accountability without change in behavior?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question. When we talk about professional athletes, and I know that we throw out these terms and we love talking about, hey, we're this and we're that and we're accountable and we're the... Well, that's great that you want to hold yourself to some high accountability level.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, accountability is wonderful if you have a change in behavior. But doing the same thing over and over again is the exact definition of insanity. If you're going to do this same stuff over and over and over again, and you are going to expect a different result, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You can't do the same thing you've always done, because that's going to net you the same thing you've always gotten. So we love throwing out these buzzwords like, accountability, and, we're talking about this and we're meeting about this. And well, that's great. But if the end result's the same, what does all that accountability mean?
A waste of time is what it means.
That's exactly what it means. And in professional sports, it means you wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
We've got to, if you are BYU and you are a football player, we as the media have got to ask better questions. We have got to say to BYU, well, hey, it's great you guys are accountable, but what does that mean that, hey, we're getting guys out of bed? Getting guys out of bed earlier for a 1:30 game isn't going to make them come out and be fired up and ready to go.
Right.
And again, I don't mean to be redundant, and I know I get fired up over this. I'm tired of hearing about buzzwords. I'm tired of hearing about we're trying this and we're trying that. When it comes to sports, we love to use these cliches.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have accountability if the behavior does not change. That's not accountability.
Yeah.
That's like some narrative, and that's all well and good. We need better performance.
Yeah.
That's what this football team needs.
Yeah.
Better performance and a higher level of accountability, because you are not winning anything in the Big 12 because, we had to get guys out of bed a little earlier. We're kicking off at 1:30. I get it. The other thing that I think a lot of people don't talk about, you look at the age group that we're talking about, and at BYU, these guys are more mature, as Notre Dame was so happy to point out, because they've all served church missions.
They're a bunch of old guys.
Right, yeah, hey, they're 24, 25.
Yeah, they pointed that out.
Do I have to, if you're 25 years old and I have to motivate you to come out and play hard? Well, it's a 1:30 game. I'm tired, Mom.
Yeah.
Well, your job is to go play football.
Yeah.
If we couldn't motivate you at Allegiant Stadium at 7:30 on national television, are we going to be able to motivate you at home when you slept in? Oh, well, we slept in too late. Get out of here.